Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to week 2, day 3. No, I did that wrong. It's week 3, day 2
There
here
you go.
in the HPL. I'm the Sean Forecourt Jester Delaney. I'm joined again by Mr. Kevin Naki, who needs to be maximized. Yay, Skype. And a nice
Hello.
little wave for everyone. How you doing, sir?
I am doing great. I'm casting Heroes again. It was super awesome to do the HPL last time. I'm glad that everyone invited me back to cast another day of it because it is so much fun. And I am in massive Heroes withdrawal right now. So this is going to give me my fix for a day or two.
It has been literally 7 days since any of us have really been able to enter into the Nexus. But I got good news for you, sir. There was a patch pushed out today to Battle.net. Fingers crossed. This week, in the next few days, we're going to be able to get back into it with Azmodan, with Anubarak, with whatever balance changes they want to do, ranked modes, custom games, who knows, right? It's all in the pipeline, so there is light at the end of the tunnel, sir. But I'm definitely feeling the withdrawal myself.
Absolutely. And of course, because I did used to work on the team, everyone's like, oh, hey, so, give me the exact hour the game comes back up. And I'm like, I haven't been on the team for like a month and a half now. I'm guarantee you timelines have changed. Also, my only reasonable announcement this week from the last time that I canceled HPL is I have at least 118% better mic right now. So hopefully I don't blow out like I did the last time.
No, and I can even see your face this time. It's not like just glasses and a pop filter.
I tried.
So yeah, we are into week 3, day 2. The schedule on the website a little bit messed up because of the shutdown. We had a little bit of hiccups, but Heroes Premier League will go on, and we do have 4 games for you today. So the first up, ESV.Wildfire up against Resurgence. Right now, we actually have, again, a little bit of a different UI today, but comparisons is rank 5 up against rank 12. We're looking for a win here from Resurgence.
That's right. Now, Resurgence is a weird team for me because Resurgence, and I kind of talked about this last time because we did cast one of their games last week as well. They're a better team than their record indicates. They have an 0-2 record right now, but they've been down to the wire against everyone. If you remember, last week they actually played Snowflake. Now, Snowflake obviously is a great team made up of a lot of great pro gamers, but Resurgence held their own through the mid game into the late game. It came right down to the wire, and they only lost with incremental advantages from Snowflake. So these guys are good, and their 0-2 record does not indicate that. Of course, Wildfire has been playing very well up to this point, but I think Resurgence is up to the task.
I believe, I was looking up at the rankings, but ESV.Wildfire in every league is actually placing extremely well.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Diamond picked a really good team right there.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. And I'm honestly favoring Wildfire in this matchup, but mostly just want to say don't count Resurgence out. They are a great team, and their 0-2 record does not show that right now.
True enough, sir. True enough. All right, so that will be game number 1. Game number 2 today is going to be Nexus Champ, who I believe is subbing in. I don't remember who they're subbing in for, but there was a dropout. Nexus Champ, the new team, actually picked up here in the Heroes Premier League. Our sponsors are, of course, Nexus Champ and Pride. So they're going to be subbing into that to jump into game against Glorious. So I believe this is our first time going to be seeing Nexus Champ on stream, but they got a tough opponent.
That's absolutely right. Glorious Gaming is obviously a really good team, ZP's team, and that's kind of how everyone refers to it. But the thing is that they've won their games, but they've been pretty close. Last week they played 2-Arc Iliad, and I don't know if you remember, but it was like a 30-something minute game. It came right down to catapults actually killing 2-Arc Iliad's core while they were across the map and trying to take objectives. No one even cared about them. So it was a very close game, and I think that this one's going to be good. Definitely favoring Glorious Gaming in this one, though.
Game number 3 is going to be Team Prism up against Vega Squadron, both teams that I don't really have a lot of experience with. No real big names pop out at me there, but they have survived the first 2 weeks. We're going to be looking for a win there.
Yeah, and both these teams, unfortunately, 0-2. Vega, though, in their game against Empire last week, actually held their own in the early game. Empire had this weird comp where, well, I say weird comp, and I'm sure you're already upset at me because by weird, I mean Sergeant Hammer. I'm sorry. I apologize. But they had a Sergeant Hammer comp, and Empire was just pushing objectives all game, and Vega kind of lost the jump on Sergeant Hammer and kill him before you do anything else game. They weren't ever able to pin down Sergeant Hammer. Prism, on the other hand, did not have a very good week last week. They had a very normal team comp with very strong champs. They had Tychus, they had Arthas, they had Tassadar on their team. So, I'm sorry, they banned Tychus. They had Arthas, Tassadar, and Rhaegar on their team. But they just kind of lost hard the entire game. They really never were ahead in kills. They were always behind in objectives. So they really need a big turnaround this week.
We actually had a Sergeant Hammer game casted by Shane Gucher and Xander. Xander the Gamer last week. I believe it was Friday. Yeah, last Friday. That was a Hammer game that did not fly. So, I mean, it's very volatile, your outcomes there. It's either you protect the Hammer or you get the Hammer smashed.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll have to see what they come out there. The last game today is going to be Clairvoyant up against 2Arc Gaming. And, again, Clairvoyant, I believe, is placing fairly well in the league right now as well.
Yes. So both so Clairvoyant is 2-0. And the coolest thing that maybe they did last week was they banned Abathur. That doesn't happen a lot. But Abathur is a better hero than I think a lot of people give him credit for. And it ended up being fortuitous for them. They actually were able to control the map with Illidan basically the entire game. And it worked out really well for them. So I don't mind the ban of Abathur pick, specifically that they were going into like a weird Stitches, Malfurion, Illidan comp afterwards.
Oh, yeah, the Illidan comp. You were really big there with the Illidan comp. You were all about that.
I was.
That was actually my Insanity, I believe, that did that one, which is the last ones that we casted.
Yes. So, I'm a big fan of the Illidan. I think that well, of course he is, but I think in the right circumstances, he ends up being a better hero than he's given credit for. We saw him work in, like you said, the My Insanity game with a weird comp, but as a split pusher with the Hunt, he's actually quite effective.
Indeed he is. All right, so those are our 4 games. Our first one, again, going to be ESV.Wildfire and Resurgence. Before we get into the draft, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a little bit of a giveaway for you this week, the Ultimate Dead Week giveaway. In the week, fairly loose term here, but we don't have heroes, so why don't we give you some hero stuff? 4 chances to win each week. Today, I believe I am authorized to give out the $20 Battle.net gift card. That's some skin hype. That's some hero hype, because those of you that obviously didn't spend money didn't get refunds, which means you could use every dollar that you could. But we got a novel, we got some figurines, USB sticks, a T-shirt, and a lanyard. But today it's all about the gift card. It's pretty easy, Kevin. You just hit those buttons: follow, like, subscribe, everything. And we're going to pick somebody from any of those tonight.
Yep, that's absolutely right. So, guys, please do enter and make sure you're following. You can see all the links right there, twitter.com/NexusChamp. Really just kind of take websites and put Nexus Champ on the end. Or you could find them at youtube.com/NexusChampTV. Of course, all the VODs are going up from the HPL, so you can go check out all the matches that you might have missed.
Yep. Now, you don't have to follow all 4, but following all 4 helps your chances a great deal, because anybody and everybody, it's basically they compile the list, they pick, bam, you win $20. Easy as that. So, with that out of the way, sir, upcoming match, ESV.Wildfire and Resurgence. Shall we get into the draft?
Yes, indeed. Let's go ahead and get started in 3, 2, 1, go. And when I first saw this new draft screen, I was a little thrown off, because I was like, wait, 2 bans. Wait, that's Azmodan. Hold on. That doesn't work. Or I'm sorry, wait, that's a new brick. That doesn't work.
Not yesterday, but last time we saw with Shane and Xander, it was actually a Nubarak and Azmodan. I think this is actually just an error there by Pride, but I don't think we're switching to a 2-ban system, but it's good to see the new hero art up there regardless.
Yeah. I mean, eventually we're going to have enough heroes that you'll need to get there. Okay, so Wildfire banning out Tassadar to start things off. I like that. Tassadar has proven to be one of the most effective champs in the past couple of weeks in the HPL. In Archon mode, teams have just been turning... Basically, their entire team comp just turns into protect Tassadar and let him position well, because if he positions well with Archon, it's a crazy amount of damage in fights.
Yep, no, totally way to go. So Tassadar, Rhaegar, they're going to be out. Uther, not a surprise pick here. I mean, if you got Rhaegar on the ban list, you got to pull from some kind of list of healers. Uther's a very strong pick in this regard. Brings a lot of control, brings a lot of healing.
Exactly. I mean, and he's best as a first pick as well, just because you don't really have a good counter to Uther, because Uther's just heals and stuns. How do you counter that, So he's a good safe pick. And you don't need to do anything. You don't really need to reveal your team comp at this stage either. Okay, so back on the other side for Resurgence, we have Tychus. Again, not a real surprise. A very solid all-round champ. Probably the highest sustained damage in the entire game right now. Certainly an excellent assassin.
Yeah, it's almost like I want to go womp womp at this point, because we just don't see a lot of differences when it comes to first early ones. It's either going to be a tank like Arthas or Tychus, or it's going to be the support like Uther or Rhaegar, or it's going to be Tychus. I mean, I think it's a Tychus twice there, but I meant Tyrael. But either way, this is a little bit different. I'm seeing a Diablo picked up here for Wildfire. I saw your eyes light up at that one. And a Vala. So Team Diablo going to be joining the Lightbringer.
Team Diablo, I'm a pretty big fan of that. And was there like not a pick on the bottom side?
I didn't see one, but
okay, all right.
I was actually, we had a discussion of this in the chat back last week about how the actual picks and bans go. And apparently the way that it was rendered does not actually reflect the way it was picked and banned. So it might be a little bit different in this VOD because of that.
No worries. Okay, so we do know 3 picks for Wildfire. As you mentioned before, though, we have Diablo, which is actually the warrior that's going to be picked here. No Arthas, no Stitches, no Tyrael. Diablo is a great initiator. He has really nice CC. Apocalypse is obviously a big deal in team fights and being able to stop out any of those annoying champs that kind of sit and channel big abilities like Nazebo. But still interesting to see Diablo picked above an Arthas or something like that.
Speaking of, Arthas and Falsa are going to be joining the fray there for Resurgence. So Falsa's really nice mage damage, especially. That seems to be really the big way to go. I like him a bit more split pushy. I like him a bit more hybrid. Use that auto attack to effect. But in a lot of these big team fights, like you get that one shot, you need to make that punch hit hard. So you get the rewind, you get the overdrive, and you just let loose with that. But that plus a Tychus, we're looking at a very damaging team here.
Oh, yes, we are. And I would expect to see some more CC pop out here. Oh, and so now we just saw why Diablo was taken by Wildfire, because they were intending to choose Nazebo. Diablo's probably the best counter to Nazebo because Apocalypse just stops him from channeling Ravenous Spirit no matter where he's at. So by taking him out, they're like, okay, well, we're going to have this awesome guy who sits in the back of fights and channels huge amounts of damage. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, well, I mean, what can you do about it? I'm thinking more of a Tychus at this point. Because of the grenade, I'm thinking of a Tyrael because of the judgment. We're still looking for a healer here. So Tastar's out, Rhaegar's out, Uther's already on the pick and ban. At the same time, Brightwing could actually work very nicely here for the mobile because of the polymorph.
I totally agree with that, and I think that's something that's necessary. So there we go. Brightwing and Abathur, as a matter of fact. But like, I love this comp from Wildfire because this comp is basically, what are you going to do about Nazebo? It literally is, what are you going to do about Nazebo? Because if you dive in on Nazebo, Uther stuns you, then Diablo stuns you, then Sonya leap. Like, you just don't get out. You don't dive their backline. So I am super intrigued by this Protect the Nazebo comp, and I think it's going to be awesome.
We also see an Abathur there on the list as well. So an Abathur to be joining this. I mean, yeah, we got the Brightwing, Arthas, a very sustain and heal comp right there, but the Tychus, the Falstead, and then you add another one of those, like double Odin hype. Yeah, man, we can definitely get behind that. So it is going to be Garden of Terror, guys, ESV.Wildfire, and Resurgence. Are you ready, sir, to get this game rolling?
I am ready. So let's go ahead and get started here in 3, 2, 1, go.
I love how it always brings me to like a blank screen, but that purple fog of war. But yeah, as we said, ESV.Wildfire here on the left, Resurgence on the right. We are into game number 1, ladies and gentlemen, here of week 3, day 2 for Coach Esther and Kevin Naki in the Heroes Premier League. Now, if we can, as a quick note, I did find out all that lighting issue. So if you're looking at the screen here and you're saying, wow, that kind of looks a little bit different than normal gestures, like, well, yeah, because it is. It's medium settings instead of ultra. And I'll get into the specifics later if you want. But for now, we're getting in. The people are going to be roaming. Garden of Terror, what do you expect to see, sir?
Well, we're seeing ESV.Wildfire roam as 5 here. I hope we're going to see strong objective control, especially given that these teams seem like they're geared up towards big team fights and things like that. I hope this actually turns into a big amount of objective control. Oh, Arthas actually getting caught. You see the sheer amount of stuns that ESV.Wildfire has, and Arthas goes down immediately. Resurgence only a few seconds into this game already on the back foot.
A kill less than a minute in. That's pretty intense. Caesar Salad there on the Abathur. We saw him actually try to infest and help out, but 5-man that early with that much control, and that was not going to go anywhere good for Arthas. So we see the split again. Uther going to be going up top, putting him supports early, hard to really kill in a 1v1. Also got the Witch Doctor bottom, so they're putting 2 down there. I kind of do like that. Ooh, that could be trouble.
Yeah, and Witch Doctor's taking a huge amount of damage, gets stunned by Arthas as well, knocked back by the grenade of Tychus, and that's going to be enough. Sonya jumps on, trying to finish off Tychus. She can't do it. She'll have to run away, and that's a kill apiece for each ESV.Wildfire and Resurgence now. Very well done. I really love this lane here in the top lane for Resurgence. Abathur plus Brightwing. Brightwing is, of course, mobile everywhere. So is Abathur if he wants to be. It looks like Abathur's moving away now, but just think of the amount of XP soak they have up there, and yet they still have the ability to jump away at a moment's notice. That's cool stuff.
Yeah, there's the Abathur just kind of scouting out the back line, just trying to keep himself safe. But, Abathur, I mean, he does bring a lot of strength here to these comps, but at the same time, if you catch him out, you could have find yourself on the back foot so early. Now, we don't have any stealth here, so I'm not really too sure that's really going to be too much of a problem here for Caesar Sound, but bottom lane is going to be some pain from Nurak.
Oh, yeah. Nurak takes a huge amount of damage. Brightwing trying to jump in. Are they going to be able to turn this around? Yes, Pickles actually falls. Nazemo, though, does land his zombie wall on top of Arthas that allows Vala to come in from the side and pick off the kill. Diablo down to virtually 0 health. I actually think that was less than 10 health there for a second. People are dying very quickly here. They've got to watch out. Oh, look at that turnaround for Diablo. Boom, so good. Another kill. Falstad dies. Well done by ESV.Wildfire.
I was going to say, that's a gutsy move there, Poom, but his regen came out huge, and then the rest of the team was able to collapse, and Falstad had already used that hammer. It was on cooldown and wasn't actually able to just kind of bring any kind of usefulness to that fight. So nice timing there. That's going to put us 4 kills ahead here for Wildfire as they take a little bit of a lead. Caesar Sound now soaking in the top because everyone was basically in the bottom. And you can see Cliche as well. They're going to go for a few seeds here.
Yeah, all right. So Wildfire winning with kills so far. Oh, Abathur's got to get out of there, though. Uther does hit him a little bit. Brightwing just taking some seeds here in the jungle. Uther's going to be a jerk and come in and steal most of those. Pretty good play there. Abathur uses his symbiote right on top. Vala's going to come in from the side. Cliche taking a huge amount of damage, but it doesn't look like there's enough to follow it up and snag that kill.
Said early game supports. I mean, 1-on-1, even 2v1 sometimes. It's really hard to bring them down because you don't have a lot of those talents under your belt. You don't have that big burst damage that you're looking for. And sometimes they'll just walk away. I mean, that's what Uther was really famous for early game, wasn't he?
Yes, that's absolutely right. Uther walks away. Man, I got to tell you, some of the earlier, pre-alpha Uther, when the design team was messing around with Uther and trying to figure him out, he was worse than he is now. It's crazy.
Well, speaking of crazy, 3-man gank coming up here to the Golem.
Okay, so Poom's taking a huge amount of damage. Diablo turning into a little crab just looks hilarious to me. I don't know why, but Garden Terror is under attack, and it looks like this is going to be a spot for the entire fight. Vala was trying to sneak up from the back, but actually ran directly into Arthas. Arthas now moving in to try and engage directly on top of this. Throws up his AoE. Cibio comes in from Abathur right on top as well. Uther has taken a huge amount of damage. He ends up dying, and so does a couple of members, actually, of ESV.Wildfire. Arthas has fallen amidst all of this. Diablo down to his last couple of bits of health as well. And surprisingly, despite all of that, it only ends up turning into a 2-for-1. Thought that would have been almost both teams cleared out.
Well, I mean, Bims wasn't actually up there, right? I mean, Abathur was there,
true.
But of course he's only doing, Abathur things at this point, symbiote and all that fun jazz. Wow, Caesar Sound right outside that gate, man. We do got some mercenary camps going now, but Bims was actually down here farming up, and I suspect that's because of his talent choice. Did he actually take stacking health and mana from Voodoo?
Let me see here. He ended up taking Death Ritual, Gathering Power, and Mule.
Yeah, so that's why he decided that, the team fight, he's not 10, he's not really going to bring a lot to it. So he decided to go get the Death Ritual stacks anyways. Now you see a lot of merc camps going down. Now it's going to be another fight down here at the Golem.
That's right. So Resurgence has to back out of this. Arthas actually a bit trapped here, but he's doing more damage than I anticipated, I have to say. Sonya actually took the brunt of that off to the side. Tychus making his way in. This is going to be enough to finish off Uther, I would imagine. No, a great jump in from Diablo. Boom, pushing back Falstad there and saving Uther once again. So no harm, no foul. No one ends up dying in that little engagement. Objectives are split for our two teams. And do we have enough for a terror on either side? I don't believe we do.
82-98. Is the current standing, and I don't think there's actually any more seeds that you can get on the map. We do got some merc camps still up and about, but level 9, ESV.Wildfire did hit 9 first, so they're going to be getting those heroics fairly too sweet. And look at this, they're going to go for those top knights.
Very nice. This is going to be a huge amount of pushing power for them. Fortunately, Sonya tried to grab into the knights and actually was blocked by the bush there. Really weird clipping. But they're going to clean up these knights, no problem. It looks like finally Resurgence might have caught wind of this as Arthas and Falstad were starting to move up to those knights, but they don't catch wind of it in time. And that's a good, safe, free objective kill there for ESV.Wildfire.
Well, they might have known it, but they also, ESV.Wildfire hit 10 during that. So
that's true. That's
10
true.
versus 9, you do not want to be picking a fight with that enemy team unless you can catch them out. And they didn't know where Bims was. He was hiding in a bush, and the rest of them were up by the knights. They said, all right, we're just going to let them have it. I mean, they're going to be able to take out the knights. Fairly minimal damage because we do got mules on both sides. You can see the Abathur mule on the top. So, really, I mean, all they lost was just the capture experience. Like, basically, it's not that big a deal. It's minus a little bit of pressure, but they were able to handle it. Now they're 10. Now they can go looking for a fight if they want to, because, again, the power of the Abathur really does spike up at 10.
Totally agree with you. And I just was checking out talents as well when they all hit 10. There are no surprises in heroic powers here at all. So everyone is taking what you would expect them to. And we'll see here as Resurgence is going to try and push out this top lane. They've actually got quite a bit of momentum here, but they're losing all of their camps to Wildfire at the moment. So a crazy little, I'll trade my camps for your fort, but Resurgence has to back with only killing one tower. That's not good for them.
I was going to say, I don't even think it's a fort at this point. It's, you can have my camp and I'll damage your gate.
Yeah.
That's not a fair trade whatsoever, guys. But it's also a stylistic choice. I mean, they're really looking for the pressure. These guys, however, coming for a fight.
No kidding. Falstad barely gets out of there. So does Brightwing, activating that blink heal to get over the gate there. Very nice job by Resurgence not to die. I know that sounds odd, but they could have taken a huge amount of damage. So we have an ultimate evolution Tychus who's trying to come around the side here and chase off Nazebo down at the bottom. He's done it, so he turns around and re-engages here into the top of the fight. Nice job by Abathur continuing to zone out this Nazebo down here at the bottom. But even then, it still doesn't matter as one member of Resurgence has fallen. Arthas may end up dying here in a second. No, very nice slow and stun to get himself out of there. Odin's being activated, but that's not going to be enough. So I think that Resurgence did a very nice job of positioning there in that fight and warding away Nazebo, but they just weren't as coordinated and strong in the main engagement itself, and somehow Wildfire was able to snag a kill there.
The only person that actually went down during all that, I mean, that was basically every ult that you could possibly think of, was the Tychus. And, you know, Caesar Stout was able to get off the clone, and he did see the Odin. He was able to chase out Bims, but overall there wasn't really a lot of focus. A lot of ESV.Wildfire got out with, like, really high hit point values. And, again, only the one kill going down. So not exactly a good spot here for Resurgence. They are still more on the back foot. Another fight going out here.
That's right. So Vala throws off a strafe that actually does a massive amount of damage. That was crazy how effective that strafe was. She got the full duration with no stuns. That's already 1 or 2 kills there, and she's going to end up dying for it, of course, right? No, all right. Ends up surviving there just barely. Tychus is going to fall as well. That's 3 members of Resurgence now down, and ESV.Wildfire is looking very good at the moment. Oh, Vala ends up dying to Abathur's mines. That's sad stuff, but still
gets the kill.
Well done by Vala, though. I have to say the damage in that fight was pretty awesome from her.
Yeah, no, that strafe really paved the way. I mean, we did lose out, I think it was 3 for 2 in the grand scheme of things. But again, Caesar Salad, he's been putting down a lot of these toxic nests. He's been going lane to lane. He's really the main reason that we're actually even leveled at this point in Resurgence, because that extra EXP soak that the rest of the team, like, he's been participating in team fights and getting the soak, and that is putting them more or less on the level playing field. I still feel Resurgence a little bit more on the back foot here. They're still a little bit behind, but overall, they are actually really into this. Iacona, however, could be some trouble, but nah, he's he walks.
Of course he is. He gets out of there. Yeah, I mean, Abathur right now is actually leading in siege damage by about double the next person on his team, leading in hero damage, and leading in XP contribution by about 1,500. All right, and it looks like here comes the Garden Terror now as Resurgence both of them just going back and forth. Hopefully one of the Garden Terrors lands on top of the plant and becomes a mini plant, because that's hilarious. This Ravenous Spirit from Nazebo has done so well. Brightwing was knocked out of this, and so there is very little sustain for Resurgence through the rest of this fight. Just because they have the tankiness of this giant Garden Terror, though, they may be able to hold this back for at least a little period of time, but kind of an awkward fight right there.
Yeah, Caesar Salad, I mean, he's still trying his best. He goes into that Odin mode, but he's just going to get right back out of it and didn't really get a lot accomplished. I mean, they did lose out their Brightwing. It's really hard to engage with that sustained healing, especially when you're up against an Uther, because, again, you're just not going to win that trade-off. But both of these gigantic plants are just going back and forth. Caesar Salad going forward. He still has control of that clone Tychus, trying to get off the damage, but the damage just isn't there. Nobody here from the ESV.Wildfire is actually taking really any kind of damage, and you can see now they're going to be on the retreat because they have lost that Garden Terror.
Yes, and Narak is still up with about half his health remaining now. This is going to time out soon, but Apocalypse actually hits a ton of people for Resurgence. Strafe went off the entire time as well, and Falstad and Brightwing just die immediately. A great turnaround from ESV.Wildfire there. Very well done.
And Narak blows up with that Garden Terror, gets off a Death Coil, does take home the kill on top of Diablo, but at the same time, he is going to be paying for it. Equinox can't get the kill on top of Bim's. Great stun coming out. He is going to get cleaned up. The entire team, basically, here from Resurgence is dead in the water, including the clone. Just leaves Caesar Salad in the bottom lane to do a little bit of soaking. But Hey, retreat, not just joke. That was a Sonya leap into, got basically all three of the chasing members into the Apocalypse, perfectly timed out. Really nice combo there from Wildfire. And that puts them basically way ahead in terms of levels, kills. I mean, they got the map pressure. They've been getting all the Merc camps. They basically got an entire map at their disposal because the death timers are still ticking for Resurgence. And they're just looking good here into this mid-late game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think you were absolutely right before when you pointed out the Abathur, though. He is still continuing to do very well in terms of absorbing experience. We are still even on levels, and he has taken down the gates for 2 lanes now. So there is still progress being made here. And if Resurgence can win one big team fight, which they certainly have the comp to do so, if they can get on top of Vala and Nazeebo and not allow Strafe and Ravenous Spirit to do their full damage, I think they could still win this.
Well, that's exactly the problem. The Sonya leap, if it catches 2 people followed up by Diablo, just nothing you can do about that. I mean, nobody here has Relentless, I assume. And I mean, that is basically a death sentence. That's going to be so much less pressure on your in the back Witch Doctor, who's going to do the Ravenous Spirit regardless. And then the Strafe, there's nobody to stop the Strafe. Like, exactly. We got Polymorph, we got grenades, we got Abathur, we got all these things to stop Strafe, and nothing's going to hit because of the stun. And then just by the time the stun's done, all the damage is on the board, and you got nothing left. Like, the hit points have been so radically different at the end of the fights here for Wildfire versus Resurgence that, I mean, the comp is just being played absolutely wonderful.
Oh, yeah, no, I totally agree with you. But, like, there are opportunities for Resurgence to make plays happen right now, but the problem is that they haven't been coordinated in shutting down people and stunning them at the moment. Like you mentioned, there are plenty of abilities for Resurgence to be able to stop most of those abilities from going off. But they're not coordinating their initiations, and Arthas is just kind of running in, tending to get killed before anyone else gets in there and actually does any damage, and then Sonya Leap does the rest. All right, are they going to try and move in on this? This would be very risky.
Well, Caesar Sound is right there. He does have that Tychus yet again. Ooh, nice dodge there on top of that spear. Not going to be landed there from Sonya, but they did get that top. It's basically cleaned out. They're going now for the mid keep, but Poom is good. You know, that Diablo, he's a giant Garden Terror. And then he's going to be a giant red demon. Like, he is not going to be going down anytime soon. He's going to soak all this damage, and they're going to get a keep out of it.
Oh, and it looks like Abathur is going to turn into Odin here from the side and try and put on some pressure. Strafe has actually been a lot less effective this time. It actually hasn't hit that many people, so a lot of the damage from ESV.Wildfire is going to be missing over the course of this fight. Puma's going to be turned back into Diablo here in a second. There he goes, and the rest of ESV.Wildfire hasn't engaged yet. There comes the ult from Falstad. Wildfire is trying to chase Resurgence out of this. Abathur is now down. He's just going to have to symbiote on top of this fight. He's trying to save Arthas, but can't do it. Mini Odin trying to escape. He finally gets pushed back into his own turrets. Tychus takes some huge damage, but he backs out of there. One member down. Arthas dies yet again for Resurgence.
And again, I'm looking at those hit points on Wildfire, and Uther's doing a heck of a job, man. Like, those AoE heals, the single target stuns, like, he's preventing so much damage and then healing up the rest of his team. It is absolutely insane, the advantage we got going here for Wildfire.
Can we give credit to Abathur again, though? Because I just want to say, look down at the bottom lane right now. Nazeebo has to react to this because that fort is about half health just because of Abathur. Then Abathur came back up to the top lane, and yes, they ended up losing their fort, but he pushed back out that lane, and he's doing a good job once again of ensuring that Resurgence doesn't fall too far behind in this game. He has been the great safety net for Resurgence and absolutely what they've needed.
I'm just leaving up the talents here. We got a little bit of dead space. We got to push here on the bottom, push there on the top. We might actually just be ending up trading out forts here, but that's totally fine here with ESV.Wildfire. They got that level up. They might actually hit 19 out of this one as well with that keep, and that puts them one level closer to the Storm hero powers that be coming their way. Those coveted level 20 ult upgrades, and that's going to be a big mess here for Resurgence.
Yes, that's absolutely right. Now, taking objectives, not a bad idea here, trying to get another Garden Terror and pushing out. But the problem is that they're down to their keeps in all lanes right now. Yes, they've opened up top lane, so if they win a big engagement, potentially they can push a keep and get catapults from going. But the problem is they have to play so defensively, especially with Siege Giants now pushing in the bot lane.
Well, yeah, those Siege Giants are not something you can really leave just unattended. I mean, if you did have the Locust down here, that's going to be a separate matter, but it's all about Caesar South and this pushing. I mean, as you said, his siege damage is off the chart. He's already pushed out this top. Bottom is not looking so great, but Mule on both sides, I mean, Mule will not survive to two Siege Giants in the bottom left.
All right, so let's see here.
Tell me that was your phone.
It was my phone, as a matter of fact, but from an unknown number, so we're going to let that go. Otherwise, I would totally pick it up.
We're busy, guys. Heroes.
Yes, heroes more important. Okay, so bottom lane is finally cleared out, and Garden Terrors are going to be meeting here in the mid lane. Once again, we're kind of in that awkward spot where Resurgence needs to position perfectly and try and pick off one of these assassins if they want to engage. Of course, Wildfire just wants to sit back for about 10 more seconds, hit level 20, and they can walk in with their storm powers.
Well, I'm not sure they're going to get that option. I mean, Tech down here is already down to half health. Boom is just going on top of him with the rest of the team. They're, Resurgence is about to lose that Terror, and that could be the swing of the fire right there.
Yeah, but Tychus, I should say the Abathur Tychus in the back here is actually doing some pretty good damage. But Uther, of course, is there and heals everything right back up. Nazebo positioning in the back to use a Ravenous Spirit whenever the time comes. Falstad backing out for now. But I just don't understand what Resurgence's plan is here.
They're doing exactly the same. They're going to do a Sonya Leap into the Diablo, and then the Witch Doctor in the back is going to do the Resurgence. Like,
yeah.
When you're chasing, you naturally group up, right? I mean, that's just how it happens. These narrow corridors is going to be forcing you into that. So I think they were just looking for a perfect situation. And I totally just described the wrong team's strategy. So.
I know what you meant, though. I know what you meant. I totally had your back there. No, but one thing important to note is that, don't forget, both Odins are down now. So not only does Abathur have to go back into symbiote mode and not ultimate evolution, but Odin is down on the other Tychus as well, and they're going to engage right next to the cape here. Look at the damage coming in from Abathur. Every time he throws out those spikes, he's hitting all 5 members of Wildfire over and over again. So Wildfire has already lost a couple of members of their team, but they have managed to take out this keep at the same time. Cliché, Brightwing taking huge amounts of damage, finally dies as she escaped next to the core. So it ended up turning into a 2-for-2. I really thought that Resurgence engaged better than that, and I thought they were going to get a better result, to be honest.
So what Resurgence was doing is they're going back to their keep and trying to use it as a 6th man of their team. Obviously the thing that I described, had that actually been the other way around, that would have been totally great. But no, it's way too early in the morning. They tried to use the keep for the extra damage. It just didn't work. They still traded out even, and they lost the keep on top of that. We're level 20 now for ESV.Wildfire. Now, on the flip side, though, Caesar Salad, again, he pushed down that mid lane during all that.
Yep.
So he is keeping these guys in. Like, we're level 20 with an 8-kill difference between these teams, and they're just really keeping into it because of that experience advantage. In fact, the forts are really not that different. I mean, we got just that bottom lane is the only difference between these two teams.
Abathur has 8,000 more experience than the next closest person on his team. I just want to put that out there right now. And Abathur has pushed down, as we mentioned, that mid lane, but he's also started to push against this top lane as well. A very nice job, as he's about to take out yet another gate here in a second once that pressure keeps continuing. So very cool stuff. Abathur has just been playing exceptionally well. The only thing I will say against Abathur's credit, though, is that I don't think he's picked the right times on his ultimate evolutions. I think that Resurgence has thought very optimistically, like, pop your Odin, it's great, we're going to engage here in just a couple of seconds, we're going to catch him off guard, but it's never happened.
Not once, and the kills really do reflect that. 17-9, there's a 2-4 difference between them, but level 20, I gotta give, again, props to Caesar Salad doing it well. You're not gonna be finding a few guys here in the bush, doesn't actually go for the engage because he didn't really have a lot of the team there. You can see Cliché in the bottom lane, he's just not in position. Equinox, however, had he gone actually one step further out of that bush, I think Iacona might have gone for the stun and the kill. Caesar Salad, though, engages.
And he's going to go right back in again. Does he even have enough time to clear off his Odin? He doesn't, so now he's got a symbiote to try and help over the rest of this fight. Nazebo at the back. Look at the stuns. Divine Storm into the apocalypse, and everyone from Resurgence is held up. Yes, Sonya died, but she has Resurgence of the Storm. She'll be right back up, and a big fight there for ESV.Wildfire. Really well done.
Now, Wildfire got that kill. I mean, again, these narrow corridors lead into great ultimates there from Diablo, great leaps there from the Sonya. Sonya knows that Caesar Salad's here. Yeah, she's going to be putting an end to this. And he goes 2 shots, literally pickles 2 shots right there. But can these Giants actually take out this fort? Because I'm not thinking that's going to happen.
You know, with 58 seconds here, there's going to be a great opportunity. Now that the lanes aren't going to be pushed for Resurgence anymore, Wildfire can turn right back around and maybe push a keep.
They got it! Oh! That last boulder was enough. Good on you, Caesar Salad and crew. But level 21 apiece. Again, only a 1-fort difference between these guys. 11 kills and counting, but you don't ever want to be going against this Wildfire comp in those tight spaces. Diablo, the Sonya, the Witch Doctor. It's too much to handle, Kevin.
You are absolutely correct. There's just too many stuns. You have to pick someone off. You have to pick someone off so they don't have sustained damage through all of those stuns, and they haven't been able to do that. But if you saw what ESV.Wildfire just did, they actually took out the next Garden Terror as they were spawning theirs to ensure that there was no possibility of Resurgence getting a Garden Terror over the course of this fight. So this is a big advantage now, as it looks like the rest of Wildfire is just going to push down to the bottom and go to the core.
With a giant terror this big at this late in the game, this actually could be it.
Yeah, it could very well be. And it looks like Resurgence is going to turn around and re-engage. False Stance only hits Nazebo and only does about a quarter of his health. Not nearly as effective as it needed to be. Look at that giant Divine Storm there. I just love it with the hero of a level 20 talent on top of it. So big. There's a nuke from Odin. It's not going to be enough. Looks like this plant is actually locking down the core for a while, at least visually. It looks neat. And I think that is going to be all she wrote for Resurgence. Really well done here by Wildfire.
23 kills to 10 by the end of it. You see the Witch Doctor all going off. Diablo is actually going to drop. Equinox is still impressively staying alive, but the core is dropping. You can see the symbiote on top of it. But that is, as you said, going to be all she wrote. ESV.Wildfire do take game number 1 here of week 3, day 2 in the HPL. Pickles with the very well-mannered GG by the end of it. But what a comp coming out of Wildfire. Some really remarkable stuff on that map.
You know, it was really weird because, like, the game lasted longer. I don't want to say than it should have necessarily, but that game was definitely prolonged by Abathur because in every other aspect of the game, ESV.Wildfire was better. Let's be honest. They were better at objective control. They were better at team fighting. They were more coordinated. They had better coordination on their ults and picking people off in fights. Resurgence had Abathur, and that kept them in the game for a really long time, but it wasn't enough.
It's amazing. Like you say, X, Y, Z went in favor of ESV.Wildfire, but Abathur, just Abathur. Like he was able to almost equalize all of that advantage. Now the team fights, as I said, could have been a little bit better, but got to give props, man. That was a great last pick there from Resurgence. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough for a win, but that is how the cards were laid. ESV.Wildfire with again another win, 3-0 now in the HPL. And we're going to set up for our next game, which would be Nexus Champ up against Glorious. Guys, we will be right back. But while we are away, feel free. Go hit those social medias because we are doing this giveaway. Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. Hit those buttons. We're giving away $20 Battle.net gift card at the end of all this. So don't say I didn't ever do anything for you. All right, so we'll be back in just a moment. Kevin knocking for Jester. Don't go anywhere.